Eric, when it comes to the whole trip that you guys just went on, how would you kind of evaluate how things went? Obviously, you got some big wins there, but what does that sort of do to set you guys up here?
Yeah, I think it went really well. 3 out of 4, and we played better as a team, and team defense was better. Played simpler, and I think it worked for us pretty well.
How much is playing simpler allowing that team defense to sort of come to fruition?
Yeah, I think it's been helpful. Sometimes when you struggle and when you're trying to find your way, it's easier to just kind of take a step back and then take a couple forward instead of just trying to do more and more and more. So that's why that simple, I guess, is a good word for us, and it means a lot of things, obviously. But yeah, it worked.
For you to be able to get back today, it looked like you were fully participating. That has to be encouraging for you right now.
Yeah, it's been an interesting year in a lot of ways for personally, but I never want to miss time, and I try to do everything I can to get back out as soon as I can when I miss games. So hopefully things kind of start going away a little bit.
Lindy has said in the past year or so that he feels like sometimes it's easier to play a simple game on the road than at home. He feels like you guys play a simpler game on the road than at home. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. It's a good question, and honestly, it's probably a little bit of a mindset more than anything. And you go on the road, and I don't know why the mindset for a lot of teams goes into that. Like good road hockey you always talk about, and that's kind of what it means is you don't force stuff, and then you almost feel a little bit more comfortable at home. So maybe you're trying certain things a little bit differently, and so that's probably what it means.
Obviously, you've played Boston a few times now since being there, but even with guys gone like Bergeron and things, they still continue to play well. What do you think it is about, is it the culture that maybe he even set in the locker room that you think still hangs around there with that team?
Yeah, and it's not just him. I don't know what percentage of their guys who are still in that locker room were with him. I'm sure that they've, I learned a lot in 1 year, so I can only imagine what a lot of those guys learned in 4, 5, 6, and plus. So they got great leadership over there, and they just play the right way, and they play a very consistent game, and they have some really, top-end skill and good goaltending. So it's no surprise ever to me that they're kind of always finding their way up there.
You've been in a situation where Lindy has really had a ton of trust in you. I'm wondering, what does that do for a young player when that trust is almost automatically, not automatically, but, given so early to a young player?
Yeah, I think I'm just trying to get better every day and work on my game, and my teammates and my coaches feel more confident day in and day out with my game, and I think I've had a good 25 games so far, but just got to keep it going, and try to get more comfortable every game I'm out there, and I think, that's kind of just what I'm trying to do. So.
What is it like for you, as a player who's being used in several situations, or pairings, I should say, whether you're with Colin, sometimes you're with Shimon? How does that challenge you as a young player?
Yeah, I think for me, I can play the left or the right, so I think that's a lot of versatility. I think, that's kind of something where you can put me with a lot of different guys, but, I think all 6, 7 of our D, 8 if you count Dougie, all of us can play in different areas with different partners, which is great about our D-core, and that's great in key situations for us.
There are kind of two different types of pairings when it's Shimon versus Colin. Where do you sort of see those big differences in times of games?
I think I've spent a little bit of time with both of them. I think me and Mills have kind of started to get our chemistry together the last couple of games, and really feel comfortable with each other. I think he's done a great job supporting me when I go up, and me supporting him. And with Nemo, I think it's kind of just when we're down. But I think he's a great player, and he's shown that the last couple of games he's been here, and he's been big for our team, and we need him to keep going. So.
What has he been like to sort of, integrate into this group? It's not always easy, especially when, you don't fully speak the language.
Yeah, he's my roommate right now, so on the road. But he's a funny guy. He's a really good player, really good offensive instincts. Plays with confidence. It's been good to have him here, and he's making our team better. So.
Thanks, Luke. It must be encouraging to have Eric back at practice today.
Yeah, it was good to see him back. Yeah, obviously we'll see how he handles it, and we'll go from there.
And what did you sort of see from him? Did you see him full participation? How did you evaluate that?
Yeah, for first day back, just trying to evaluate where he's at.
When it comes to facing the Bruins, what makes them so special in terms of a group when they lose someone like Bergeron and Krejci and yet still maintain who they are? What is that about them?
I think it's part of their culture. I think it's part of the culture that Bergeron left with them. How you prepare every day, how you practice. Good discipline. I think they've been getting real good goaltending. They've had some struggles of late, but I think every team goes through little segments where maybe things don't go as well as you want.
When it comes to Luke's game and your ability to trust him both in situations with Colin Miller, Shimon as well, what is it about him as a player that allows you to, make those trust in those decisions?
Well, first and foremost, it's his play. A lot of situations dictate whether you can handle that or not, and he's been able to handle it so far. And the more you can handle, a lot of times, the more a player will be trusted in those situations.
At what point in games, perhaps, do you feel the need to maybe sometimes make those changes? Because we've seen him start with Colin and then move to Shimon at times.
Yeah, it depends how the game is going. A lot of times you're trying to evaluate. If we're looking for more offense, if we're looking for a combination, you'll see some changes inside the game. Some nights maybe a D isn't going as well. So, you're looking for what we think will give us our best chance to win.
When you see him out there with Shimon, what do you see from that pairing and what they can do together?
Well, it's just strong two-way play. I think that's what you want out of every pair. And I think sometimes when you're looking for a little bit more offense or you're looking for a defense, you kind of get some pairs split up. But at other times you may have two offensive guys together.
Is it just the way that they play that allows you to trust them? They're two very young guys kind of figuring things out still.
Yeah, I think, again, it comes down to how they're playing. A lot of times they've played well enough to be put in that situation.
Talking about the team being connected defensively, I know we've talked about it a lot this year. Do you feel like you've seen progress in terms of the team defensive effort and the connectivity over the last couple of weeks?
Well, I think you look at our record of go back the last 8, 9, 10 games. I think we've made a lot of progress. I think we just won 3 out of 4 on the road. We played a pretty strong defensive game in Edmonton. I think that we've got our defensive game in a pretty good place. And we got to continue down that road.
Do you feel like you've still been getting the chances you'd want on the power play the last few games and they just haven't gone, or has it gotten a little stale?
Power play a lot of times just comes down to execution. It's reading where that opportunity is. If you look at Luke walking right in, Jack walking right in, earlier in the year those would have went in. We wouldn't even be talking about the power play. A couple times inside the offensive zone, our reads probably weren't the best. We had, people open or we just mishandled. But that's kind of the ups and downs of the power play.
Thanks, Lydia.